Yo guys, what is up? It is MasterDavros here, giving you guys here Halo 5 Guardians commentary today, and we're going to be talking about one of the maps featured in the BTB refresh today. And for those of you that don't know, the BTB refresh is a huge playlist update to the BTB playlist in Halo 5, which just came out shortly. It featured an update to pretty much every single map that was in the previous rotation. All the same maps are still there, but we got 4 new maps added into the rotation as well, and one of them, which I'm going to be talking about today, is called Dispelled, which features a good amount of infantry and vehicle gameplay as well. So I'm going to be doing a kind of an overview and a review over this map, and I might do the same for the other 3 maps as well. But anyway, so first of all, in this part of this review, we're going to be talking about the vehicle focus of the map, which is a huge thing. So in my opinion, this is a really good vehicle focus feature on this map. You have the infantry vehicles such as the Ghost, which are pretty much essential for every single BTB map, as we've seen. Then we got the Wasps and even Scorpion tanks. And as we know, not many maps actually have a Scorpion tank, so this is kind of a good change of pace here. So the vehicle and infantry unit interaction is extremely balanced in this map, which is a huge positive already. So the map contains a lot of hills and high side lanes, and the middle structure, which is found on the bottom level, for Spartans to avoid the tank concentration. Similar to Timberland sort of. If you remember Timberland from Halo CE, you had these hills and the side lanes. You could kind of use those to avoid getting shot in the face by a Scorpion tank. This is kind of similar to that in sort of way, and so this allows for tanks to dominate the field with crazy streaks, and can give Spartans more chance to actually attack the tanks if they go too aggressive. So the tanks are not dominant on the maps, they're not overpowered at all, which is good. The vehicles are kind of balanced. However, despite this, the tanks can still be really useful for controlling the entire lower part of a map, and still shoot out people that peek out of their cover, or snipers camping in bases. So that's good, of course. Then you have the Wasp, which is featured on this map, which is pretty good. The Wasp is quite effective on this map, can effectively control points on the map, hills, and give support for ground units, as there are not many places for shelter from the aerial unit on the map. And they can also harass snipers, which is a good thing, of course. And the Wasp is no OP on this map as well, because it can easily be wrecked by a concentrated team or snipers even. But so that's pretty much the vehicle focus. I think the vehicle aspect's been nailed in this map, really balanced, and I really like the vehicle selection. Now moving on to the weapons sandbox found on the map. And the weapon sandbox, I think the weapon sandbox itself is really good for most parts. There's a few things which I would tweak, which I'll go over in a second. So first of all, you got the incineration cannon as the main power launcher feature in the map. So this is really useful. It's a really useful launcher, arguably I would say the most useful out of the launchers for this sort of map, because you have ghosts, and the incineration cannon, you can easily target ghosts and just wreck them in one shot. So it's really useful to these annoying ghosts, and you can clear paths of ground units. Then you have the snipers. You have 2 snipers, one on each base of course, and the snipers are always good for BTB symmetrical maps. You pretty much have them on every single BTB symmetrical map. That's the way the system kind of works. And the very good news is that snipers are balanced on this map, in my opinion, based on what I've seen so far. So they can be useful for controlling hills or moving around the side lanes and scouting the bases, of course, but they're not overpowered on this maps like they were on Altar. And Altar is the Sandtrap remake, for if you've forgotten. And I really hate Altar Slayer just because of the sniper and ridiculous amount of long-range power weapons. So since you can't really get a view of the entire map on Dispelled, the snipers aren't really overpowered. You have the hills, which kind of block their views of the entire maps. You can have rocks, and even the bases, which provide a lot of shelter. So the sniper is not as overpowered on Altar. On Altar, for example, the whole map is pretty much open, most of it, by the way, and you can have a ridiculously long-range view of the entire map nearly, and you can easily get some kills. You can have some teams just dominate the map, and you can have this one asshole in the back, or some people camping near a pelican. They have a scope of a whole entire area, just get some easy kills. The easiest sniping kills you can ever get on an Altar. It's so easy. That's why the sniper is ridiculously overpowered in Altar. That's why I hate Altar Slayer, and that's why I like Dispelled, because Dispelled snipers are balanced and they're kind of fun to use as well, because you can kind of play tactically with them, scouting around the area. So then we have the gravity hammer, and I think this can be really effective for storming bases in CTF, but I don't think it's as viable in Slayer. And I think the scatter shot would be a better choice, so this has to be slightly higher range to it when attacking the rocky side lanes. Or you can have the surprise attack by accessing the teleporters, or you can attack the bases and bounce shots off the walls over there, of course, as well. And then we have the overshield in the bottom structure, and I don't think the overshield works as well for this map as well. I think you can easily take out the overshield. It's quite open once you get out of the structure, so you can easily get kind of dumped down, and it's quite a while to run around the map. It takes quite a while, so you can lose a bit of overshield by just running to your opponent. So I think the active camo would be way more viable for this sort of BTB map when sneaking into the bases or flanking foes, so I wouldn't mind seeing the active camo on this map. Then moving on to the last part of the review, we have the map layout itself of a map structure. So I think the bases are well made with multiple routes to attack in. You have the grav lift to access it, then you have the sides, so people can't really camp for one or two sides of a base in CTF. And the bases are kind of hybrid bases of the Valhalla and the containment style bases, which makes it kind of really fun to storm the bases, and the bases allow for the intense short to mid-range fights. Then next positive, I already mentioned this, snipers no OP like Altar, we don't need to go over this again. The layout is really well done, with many lanes to attack your foes, without the map being confusing. So the many lanes allow for a huge gameplay variety in the map, and many opportunities for tactical play or flanking, or even organizing large attacks if you're a skilled team trying to win that CTF match. And I wouldn't call this even the boring type gameplay of two teams simply having a standoff. So if you, and ironically, you have a map called Standoff in Halo 3, and I kind of don't like that because it's kind of a standoff between two teams the majority of the time. I like it when you have multiple routes and opportunities to kind of flank your opponents. That's the sort of maps I kind of like with BTB. So the aesthetics are also very similar to the Valhalla style in terms of color. The bases don't have too much detail in them, kind of similar to Valhalla there, and they are not as visually interesting as some of the other maps, such as Entombed, the updated version of Entombed. If you haven't played the updated version of Entombed yet, I highly recommend you kind of check it out. It is beautiful now, it looks amazing basically. There's a lot of detail in the map and it's ridiculous. It kind of looks similar to developer map. So maybe some detail on the bases might be a good idea for a map actually, but however, his colorful nature and the good gameplay kind of makes up for this. So yeah, pretty much I really like the map, and this was my kind of overview review, and I might do the same for our maps. So see you guys later.